Hello, this is from Chakraborty's IAS Academy. I am discussing here on possible topics of the optional paper PSIR in 2025 UPSC CSE MAIN. You know that this is coming very close within next 3 months' time. This year, a lot of mixed reactions I have been seeing. Many of them have not become so happy by seeing their number. They are still trying to locate where things might have gone wrong. Some people find no reason for getting less number. One thing I can tell you, which I have said earlier, that even if UPSC repeats questions on the same subject matter or topic, but the question is never the same. Very rarely you may find that it is absolutely a verbatim repeat of the previous year's question. Otherwise, there will be normally a change, and that change has to be identified and answer has to be written accordingly. Therefore, answer of a particular question cannot be reproduced for writing answer of a question on the similar subject matter. Question pattern has been changing in all papers, including PSIR optional paper. You will find that 4 or 5 questions, at least, in every paper are not giving you that comfort. You cannot derive an answer straightforward from your notes or the textbooks which you have consulted. It requires some creativity, some innovativeness to understand the question's requirement, develop framework, and then also making your presentation different but strong enough. And that becomes challenging because time is a constraint. Then getting that right framework within a couple of seconds is a problem. But at the same time, this is also fact. There are many candidates who are getting comfortably above 250. Now, there can be other factors too. I am not denying that, but mere speculation is not very healthy exercise. I always say that short answers play a very crucial role in raising total marks. There are 5 and 5, 10 questions in the paper divided into 2 sections. And these 10 questions must fetch good number, maybe around 60 out of 100. But many questions here often give you little trouble. For example, there is a question, decline in liberalism. Now, where liberalism is declining because the whole world is moving towards liberalism, then where does the decline take place? That is what you will have to write in this answer. Another question, meaning inherent in the term political in political theory or political science. Now you have to develop, open up, explode the word political in political theory, political philosophy, political science. If you can articulate it properly, if you can develop your argument stage by stage in a sequence, then answer will look good. Otherwise, definitely answer will not fulfill the expectations of the question. Then another question is there, human rights related. There is a problem between universalization and cultural relativism approach. Universalization may be a comfort area, but what is cultural relativism and how that comes in contrast to universalism, you need to establish properly, deeply, solidly, strongly. Mere superficial mentioning will not do. And when you will be deficient of proper argument, examples, then you will be trying to come into that superficial level of discussion instead of going into the deeper level. Any person from political science will understand that then on Plato, the question is on Plato's concept of form. Now, majority of the candidates, what I see, they are occupied with Plato's concept of philosopher king, Plato's concept of democracy, Plato's concept of form is underlying in that. This is where UPSC may be testing how intelligently an civil service aspirant is trying to understand the subject matter. Can be just a possibility. Let me quickly review the syllabus structure, the question came, and where you can focus upon. First thing which I say always, that in UPSC main exam, selective reading, selective preparation does not help much. But at the same time, there is possibility of selection if you do it very prudently, very analytically. Now, if you divide the syllabus of section A, you will see that there is first chapter on political approach, second chapter on political theory, and eighth chapter is on political ideology. That when it is political theory, how to write the answer, when it is political ideology, how to write the answers. And you will see that subjects there are almost repetitive. For example, liberalism. Now, if the question is on liberalism in political theory and the question is on ideology, then answer has to be written differently. One size fits all will not work. That means you'll have to know distinction between theory and ideology. I see very often candidates who come to me for test series, not always very clear. Second part of the syllabus contains 5 subjects: justice, then equality, then right, then democracy, then power, hegemony, authority, legitimacy, these things. 4 to 5 questions every year come from these subject matters. Now, there can be a variety of questions, can be framed differently, can focus on different aspects. So you have to have 360 angle capacity to understand these subjects. Not very difficult subjects, but you must systematically do it. From chapter 1, chapter 2 and chapter 8, that is political approach, political theory and political ideology, you will get around 4 to 5 questions. And from chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you will get another 5 questions. you will get 10 questions out of 14. Then take Indian thinkers, which is chapter 9, where you will get 2 questions. This is divided into 2 parts. One part is concept like Dharma Shastra, Buddhist thought. These are concept area. Another part is various thinkers, idea, Indian thinkers' idea about political system, political issues, political concerns, political subject matters. So 2 questions come from here. And from the Western political thoughts, which contain maybe the largest portion of your total notes, give you around 2 questions, sometimes 3. Now, if you analyze properly, then you will see that candidates are more prepared with the Western political thinkers, less on Indian political thinkers, much less on justice, equality, right, democracy, power, hegemony. And these 3 chapters, that is chapter 1, 2 and 8, are not invincible, but little analytical. It requires little more exercise, little more thought, little more creative thinking, little more critical thinking. The questioning pattern and preparation pattern very often don't match so nicely, so effectively. So I find that if you really work on it in a better way, then there is possibility to perform better. In 2024, there is no question from chapter 3 justice. So therefore, this chapter is definitely crucial. And along with that, you read equality, because the question on equality is little, from peripheral area. Similarly, on democracy, they have given deliberative democracy. They can give many other areas. I am giving you some questions just to, further enrich your thoughts. But if you really review PYQs of last 5 years at least, you will see that how wording, language of questions can be changed. Even a word can make the answer different from the same subject matter, or the language of the question can make the answer different from a question dealt with the similar subject matter. Prepare this way, and I believe that your performance will improve. Let me now go to the section B, which is dealing with Indian government and politics. Beauty of Indian government and politics is this, that whenever you see a question, the subject matter is almost halfway known to you. That is both the advantage as well as danger. Now, half knowledge is dangerous. And anybody can write something on any topic that is given from IGP area. So therefore, presentation, your way of analysis holds a crucial determinant to score in this section. Here also you will find number of questions for which a straightforward answer deriving from the text or note becomes difficult. For example, they are given about constitutional morality. Now, morality linked to constitution and morality linked to individual life is not similar. So if you use that common sense of morality with constitutional morality, then it may not work. It has to be written from constitutional point of view. Then another question came, what is the objective resolution of Constituent Assembly? Now, objective resolution, suddenly you will get stuck because you might have read Constituent Assembly, but you have not noticed that word somewhere, or you have not, prepared that way. Now you will be guessing it. A guess discussion definitely cannot be as strong as it is, founded on solid knowledge. You may understand it. Then there is a question that how DPSP becomes more fundamental than the fundamental rights. Now, more fundamental than fundamental rights, that more fundamental has to be established in this answer. Merely comparing DPSP and fundamental rights may not establish automatically why it is more fundamental. So, you have to first notice it, and then you'll have to develop that logic for it. This will not come from any textbook or notes straight away. Here you require a creative mind and an articulation skill. Then only this answer will be very focused. I believe many candidates definitely have faced problem because there is a question on Arak movement by women. Okay, so many people have given guessed answer. Now this way, if you write strongly, confidently around 6 questions in the short answer block and 4 questions are guessed, then definitely that 60 marks out of 100 will be difficult, and that will not give you an advantage in scoring. Now here again you break the syllabus properly, and if you break, you will find that chapter 1 and 2 is about the background. One on the national independent movement, and one is the making of the constitution. 3 questions minimum come from this area. If you are prepared well, writing this area will be very easy. But most of the discussions on these areas have been done by historian, while your answer will be checked by a political science professor who has less command over history and more command over political dimension. So therefore, you will have to give lot of political dimension to it to make the discussion political science oriented. This is where I find very often a gap exists. Then there are 2 chapters exclusively on constitution, that is chapter 3 and 4. Now, because of your polity, because of your preli, you are familiar with articles, you are familiar with the subject matters of preamble, fundamental rights, legislature, executive, judiciary, but that is not enough for optional answers. Now you'll have to find, the political significance, political contribution, political objectivity of these subjects. Okay, how they help in Indian government and politics. And that is where I find the answer becomes more technical than political. Now, if you make it too much political but less technical, then also the answer will not stand, because these 2 chapters are primarily technical areas which are substantiated by specific provisions within the Constitution. So you can give case reference, you can give scholarly comments. In various ways you can work on them, because 2 to 3 questions are coming from these chapters also. So therefore 1, 2, 3, 4 itself will contain around 50% of the questions in section B. Now you go to the other areas which can be called as general areas, that is federalism. Last year there is no question on federalism, so therefore there is a high possibility. There is planning, there is, political party, there is caste, religion, ethnicity, and, you can, there are plenty of materials available on that, plenty of, debates are available on that, perspectives are available on that. So if you try, you can really write good answers, because from each section there will be at least one question. Okay. Then there is an easy area also, that in section A and section B, like section A, Locke's concept of revolution. Very easy, everybody will write. So therefore, content will not give you much number, it's an average number. More than content, you will fetch number. Similarly, like there is a chapter called, statutory institutions, regulatory institutions. There are around 7-8 of them are there. A straightforward question normally comes from there. If you, can write, but write, you think about that which way you can write, so that with the same content your answer may look different. And then there is last chapter, chapter 11, which is about social movements. And I think on women's movement, on civil rights movement, anybody can write. Okay, now how you will write an answer to get number, not mere writing. Okay, you'll have to write, constructively, organizedly, and also giving the political dimension that is expected from that according to the question. So then only it will be ready properly. But so I would say that you prepare very well on chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, because you will get 5 to 6 questions there. Then from general subjects like federalism, you will see that there are a lot of subtopics. In political party, you will see a lot of subtopics. I am giving you some questions here. I will also give you 2-3 video links done by myself. Don't make only reading, but make a proper combination of reading and writing. From reading you go back to writing, and from writing you come back to reading. Then only your preparation will be good enough, strong enough. Don't put the factors for bad performance always externally and good performance always internally. That may not be always right analysis. Sometimes you also take responsibility for little weak performance, and sometimes also you give credit to your various external sources for good performance. And that way you prepare, and I believe it will be all right. Don't delay your test series because time is very short. And don't fix the number, initially this many tests I will give. You decide what you want to achieve as benchmark, and then accordingly you plan. I believe that might be a better strategy for preparation. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to it. I will come back soon with paper 2 also.